Hogwarts. This wizard desires progress too much. Episode 1. Beginning with a ticket to Azkaban. July 26, 1991. Surrey, Staines, Thames, on the second floor of a luxurious villa. Facing the morning sun, Ethan Adrian sat on the edge of the bed, looking at the envelope in his hand with a dazed look. Just now, Ethan, who had just woken up and had not recovered yet, heard a rapid knocking sound from the window. The knocking sound on the second floor and outside made Ethan realize something and quickly got up and opened the window and saw an owl fluttering in, holding a letter in its feet, which was the one in Ethan's hand now. The detailed address and Mr. Ethan Adrian were clearly written on the envelope in dark green ink. On the back was a crimson wax seal and a shield-shaped emblem composed of a lion, an eagle, a badger, and a snake surrounding the letter H. This day has finally come. As a time traveler, he also became a rich third generation. He had a plan for the future. He played with finance and stocks and opened an impart in his spare time. He didn't know how happy he would be. But things didn't go as he wished. This world is not ordinary. In the second grade of elementary school, after the class was redivided, there was a guy named Harry Potter in the class. There was a lightning-shaped scar on his forehead. During the break, a fat guy named Dolly came to pick a fight with him. From that moment on, Ethan understood what kind of world he came to, Hermione and his two good children. After thinking for 3 seconds, Ethan thought that it was good not to know magic. Anyway, magic and muggles are two different societies. Can't you avoid them if you can't afford to offend them? Isn't it over if you don't contact them? But within a month after that, Ethan had a magic riot, proving that he had the qualifications of a wizard. And with the qualifications of a wizard, you must also enroll. Of course, you can also choose magic schools in other countries, such as Ilvermorny. Except for the years when Voldemort was resurrected, the life of Muggle wizards in other magic schools may not be better than that in Hogwarts. Alas. With a sigh, Ethan opened the envelope in his hand with some distress and took out the parchment inside. Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Principal, Albus Dumbledore, President of the International Federation of Magic, President of the Wizard Association, First-Class Magician of the Order of Merlin. Dear Mr. Adrian, we are pleased to inform you that you have been admitted to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Just when Ethan finished reading the admission notice, a golden interface suddenly appeared in front of him. This feeling is very wonderful. There is an extra thing in front of him, but it does not hinder Ethan's vision. He can see everything around him and this interface at the same time. The interface is also very simple and you can see it at a glance. Name, Ethan Adrian. Age, 11. Bloodline, wizard. Talent, excess soul. A more solid soul brings higher learning efficiency and spell casting speed. Strong body, improve physical fitness and adaptability to magic through exercise. Spell, none. In addition to his basic information, there is a red gift box tied with a ribbon in the lower right corner. There is no doubt that this is his rookie gift package. Although this Goldfinger looks very lame, it is better to have it than not. Without Goldfinger, it is not easy to survive in the magic world where blood resources are extremely monopolized. Now Ethan is in a good mood. It's just that he still has talent, which Ethan didn't expect. Excess soul should be brought by crossing, and he does have a strong learning ability. Strong body should be the physical talent of this life. Ethan is taller and stronger than his peers. In the past, he always thought it was the result of serious exercise. After all, if you want to move, how can you do it without a healthy and strong body? But I didn't expect that this talent could extend to magic. From this point of view, it seems that I can live well without Goldfinger. The red ribbon gift box is the newcomer gift pack. When Ethan focused on this, a piece of information flowed into his mind. Newbie gift pack, 3 random full-level spells. I wish you a smooth journey of magic. 3 full-level spells. This gift pack is still very sincere. The magic in this world is completely idealistic, and each magic is not that simple. Even the simplest magic can still have a good power if it is practiced well. For example, the illumination spell can be played as a flash bomb, the continuous spell can be used well as a human explosion spell, and the front teeth can be inserted into the head and neck. This is still the most basic magic, and there is no need to say more about the more advanced ones. I am a European in this life, so my luck will not be bad. As the bow-shaped ribbon slowly spread out, 3 golden lights shot up into the sky. It's gold, or 3 consecutive golds, and my mouth is about to be crooked with laughter. As the golden light faded, something appeared in the spell column on the panel. Before Ethan could see clearly, he froze in place with a crooked smile. In Ethan's vision, he was no longer in the room, but in a wilderness with pale people everywhere. They were wailing, struggling, and rolling on the ground. From time to time, green lights flashed, causing the struggling and wailing people to fall silently. Some people were in a daze, with only their lifeless eyes staring at themselves. Crucio. Heartbreaking. Avada Kedavra. Avada Kedavra. Imperio. Soul leaving the body. As the spells, one heavier than the other, sounded in Ethan's mind, making Ethan's head heavy and his eyes bloodshot, he was a little shaky. A few minutes later, Ethan sat up again from the bed. He had completely learned these 3 spells. He did not need a wand or a spell. He could use them instinctively. At this moment, the column of spells had also changed. Spells: Killing Curse 10, Cruciatus Curse 10, Imperious Curse 10. Are these spells powerful? Very powerful. Voldemort's favorite. But these 3 spells cannot be used. This thing is the Unforgivable Curse. Once used on a person, they will need to stay in Azkaban for life. Before Ethan could sigh, the panel jumped up again. Falling into darkness. A self-degrading soul is going further and further on the path of a dark wizard. Achievement goal: learn the Unforgivable Curse, 3/3. Achievement reward: improve dark magic talent. I am the darkness. Trampling flesh and blood, playing with souls, reaping lives, and falling into darkness? No, I am the darkness. Achievement goal: Unforgivable Curses max level, 3/3. Goal reward: talent Heart of Darkness, improve black magic talent. Use black magic without any emotional assistance. The Mastermind. Incredible! You who appear harmless are actually the one who hides the deepest. Achievement goal: no one knows that your unforgivable curses have reached the pinnacle, 3/3. Achievement reward: use any magic as long as it is not seen by your own eyes, it will not be noticed by anyone. What the hell are you hinting at? Seeing these achievements, Ethan's face was a little stiff. Doesn't this mean that I'm not a good person? Coo, coo, coo. The cry of an owl interrupted Ethan, who was still going crazy. This reminded Ethan that he still had to write a reply, of course. He had to prepare some food for the owl first. Episode 2. The Professor Comes to Your Door. July 28th, early morning. Didn't you sleep well last night? Yeah. Ethan nodded to Ethan Adrian, who was reading a newspaper on the sofa. In the past 2 days, he had indeed spent a lot of time studying magic. Imperious Curse, Killing Curse, Cruciatus Curse, each of which had been experimented countless times, resulting in a serious lack of sleep time, so that his spirit was a little sluggish. These were the unforgivable curses, which Ethan could not use on human bodies. The best target was mice. Ethan directly asked the servants to sell 100 of them, and they have not been used up yet. It was also thanks to these mice that Ethan had a deeper understanding of magic. To use magic successfully, the conditions of wand, gesture, spell, emotion, and magic output are indispensable. However, the full-level spell completely eliminated the wand, gesture, and spell, and only required emotion and magic output. But Ethan, who had the talent of Heart of Darkness, did not need the assistance of emotions, and could cast magic as long as he controlled the output of magic. In just 2 days, Ethan went from casting the Killing Curse with his fingers to casting it with his eyes, and he could really kill anyone he glared at. The full-level Killing Curse and the double-strengthened Dark Talent are really awesome. Even Voldemort's Killing Curse is not as good as Ethan's. The only pity is that this magic cannot be used openly. And 2 achievements were also completed in the process. Wandless casting. High-end magic use skills, you have walked far enough on the road of magic. Achievement goal, complete a successful spell without using a wand. Achievement reward, a random magic. Real electric eyes. Glowing eyes, the most beautiful child. Achievement goal, successfully release a light-related magic with both eyes. Achievement reward, a random magic. The results of these two draws are also acceptable. Petrification curse, and a magic called energy siphoning. There is nothing much to say about the petrification curse, which has appeared many times in the original book, and the effect is not bad. Siphon energy. Use magic to detonate the enemy, causing explosion damage while absorbing the opponent's magic to create a magic shield for yourself, and can strengthen the next magic used. It looks like a skill of a certain three-handed person, but it is a modified version. However, these two magics are not full level like the 3 unforgivable curses in the newbie gift package, but only the most basic first level form. Ethan knows spells and gestures, but he can't cast them without a wand. But it's okay, he can get a wand today. According to the OWL reply received yesterday, a professor from Hogwarts will come to guide the new students today. I have to sigh that this all flies really fast. At the same time, the panel has also changed. Name: Ethan Adrian. Age: 11. Bloodline: Wizard. Talents: Super Soul. A stronger soul brings higher learning efficiency and spell casting speed. Strong body: improve physical fitness and adaptability to magic through exercise. Heart of Darkness: improve black magic talent and use black magic without any emotional assistance. Spells: Killing Curse 10, Cruciatus Curse 10, Imperious Curse 10, Siphon Energy 1, Petrification Curse 1. If it were me, I would also be too excited to sleep. Melon Adrian put down the newspaper in his hand and expressed his understanding. Children are definitely very yearning for the magical world. Even if Ethan usually behaves precociously, it is normal for him to be like this at his age. I am not excited, but tired from studying magic. Lying on the sofa, Ethan said weakly. What have you figured out? Without a wand, you can't use magic, so you still have to buy a wand first. Melon Adrian's mouth twitched when he heard this. This kid was just playing a trick on him. Okay, it's time for breakfast, both of you. Just when Melon Adrian wanted to say something, his mother Nisha's voice came from behind. Nisha usually doesn't go into the kitchen. These are all done by the nanny. She is not a full-time wife. In Adrian's ocean-going company, Nisha is responsible for the operation. When she is busy, it is common for her and Philemon to be away from home for a month. Today, because the professor of Hogwarts is coming, the couple rushed home from America the day before yesterday and arrived home yesterday. The couple still attaches great importance to Ethan's going to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Although they have never seen a wizard, they also know that this is very likely to be true, not a prank. After all, it is not common to have such a well-trained owl. My family is engaged in ocean freight, and there are indeed some strange things in the sea. Outsiders just think that some sailor got drunk and saw things wrong, or he got drunk in the bar and boasted to attract attention. But everyone in this industry knows that this is true, and once discovered, it must be reported to a special person to solve it. In addition, my family has some connections with the British Navy, and some news has been passed down from the previous generation, so I have a little understanding of the world of wizards. It was exactly 9 o'clock. The Ethan family sat upright on the sofa, and the doorbell rang at this time. I'm here. Philemon took a deep breath, stood up, and prepared to open the door. He didn't know how many years he hadn't been so nervous. Because of what his father said, the things about wizards cannot be spread widely, and it is better for ordinary people not to know, so today the servants in the house have a day off, and I have to open the door myself. The first thing that caught my eye was a dark green robe and a wizard hat on the head, followed by a female face in her 60s with square-framed glasses, but she looked a little serious. Episode 3: The Secret of Transfiguration. Mr. Adrian, I am Minerva McGonagall, the Vice Principal of Hogwarts, the Dean of Gryffindor, and the Professor of Transfiguration. Professor McGonagall introduced herself immediately. As the Vice Principal of Hogwarts, she is also one of the few reliable professors. She is responsible for half of the new students from Muggle families every summer vacation. Professor McGonagall has seen many Muggle families over the years, and has even been pointed at many times. She summarized the following points. Families that do not believe it at all and just think it is a prank will basically ignore the admission notice. Facing such families, Professor McGonagall has to show off her skills when she visits them, such as turning the door into a lion, etc. For those Muggle families who are skeptical and send a reply letter within the specified time according to the rules, Professor McGonagall also follows the rules, confirms the time, and visits them to show off her skills. It can be said that she is very experienced. "Welcome, Professor McGonagall. Please come in and sit down." Facing a wizard with extraordinary power, Ethan Adrian did not dare to neglect. "Professor McGonagall, although we believe that no one will use this kind of thing to play a prank, can you please prove it?" After greeting and inviting Professor McGonagall to take a seat, Nisha could not help but say, although she believed in the existence of magic, as a mother, she must know more about the situation. Of course, this is also one of the purposes of my coming here, to prove the authenticity of the existence of magic, and that little Adrian was indeed admitted to the magic school, and then to take little Mr. Adrian to buy school supplies. Professor McGonagall smiled and nodded, then took out his wand and gently waved it at the fruit plate on the coffee table. In an instant, the fruit plate and the 7 apples in it turned into cats, a total of 8 British Shorthairs, 1 big and 7 small. The cats were not honest after being transformed and jumped off the coffee table one after another. This move really shocked Philemon and Nisha. It was definitely magic that happened right before their eyes. "Professor McGonagall, is this transfiguration?" Ethan grabbed a cream-colored kitten and wanted to see if he could find any difference from a real cat. The short and dense fur was very elastic, and the thick body could feel the movement of the muscles. Because Ethan's technique was uncomfortable, it was struggling and meowing. No matter from which aspect, this is a real British Shorthair. Not only does it look the same, but its behavior is also the same. It is completely in line with the habits of a cat, not as dull as Ethan imagined. No wonder there are Gamp's transfiguration laws, the first of which is that food cannot be transformed by transfiguration. After all, the transformed food is exactly the same as the real thing, and it is completely indistinguishable. I can only say that this transfiguration is really awesome. Yes, this is transfiguration. If you have a talent in this area, you can join my club in the future. Professor McGonagall was very pleased with Ethan's expression. Soon, Ethan sent another inquiry. "Professor McGonagall, are these cats under your control?" "I mean, the one in my hand and the 2 that are scratching the sofa. After all, it looks like cats would do that." At this time, Professor McGonagall became serious. This little wizard is indeed different. It is the first time for him to encounter such a problem after working as a freshman receptionist for so many years. I immediately replied, "No, although I can control all their actions, I am not doing so at the moment. This is all its own instinct." "Professor McGonagall, you mean that they have become cats and have the natural reaction of cats. Before you remove the transfiguration, they are cats, right?" "Yes, that's it." Professor McGonagall was very satisfied with Ethan's answer. With this super high sensitivity to transfiguration, this boy should come to our Gryffindor. Think about what has happened in the past 2 years. The Weasley twins, it was them who brought Gryffindor to the bottom of the valley. "Professor McGonagall, did you add the reaction after transformation when you transformed?" Ethan asked. "No, I didn't add it, but transfiguration is like this. If you want to succeed in perfect transformation, you need clear thinking and deep cognition." Seeing that Ethan had no more questions, Professor McGonagall began to talk with Philemon and Nisha. Showing magic was just the first step. The rest needed to answer a series of questions about Hogwarts, including the learning environment, holiday issues, and communication with family. After all, you can't show off your magic and the other party will hand over the child to you without knowing anything. Who knows if you are using the child for some experiment? That would be a threat. Ethan didn't pay attention to Professor McGonagall's conversation with his parents. He was still immersed in thinking about transfiguration. After all, he knew something about the situation in Hogwarts. Although Professor McGonagall's answer just now was not clear, it could only be regarded as a concept. But the education in the wizarding world is like this. You can't expect professors to crush all the knowledge and feed it to you. If you can understand, think and do it, you are talented. Otherwise, you are stupid. The professors have no choice but to give up on these students. If you don't do well in the 5th year OWLS exam, you will lose the qualification to continue studying this course. Professor McGonagall's words, combined with Ethan's experience of using black magic in the past 2 days, transfiguration mainly relies on consciousness and magic. This is completely different from black magic that requires negative emotions and the Patronus charm of positive emotions. In your subconscious cognition, the transformed object has what characteristics and what form it is, so it will be what it is after transformation. In other words, as long as you have enough magic power, enough cognition, and enough understanding of transfiguration, not only magical animals, but also mythical creatures can be transformed, and they are still the forms in your consciousness. In this way, the level of transfiguration is really quite high. Episode 4, Gringotts. Soon, Professor McGonagall finished talking to Ethan's parents and turned his attention to Ethan again. Professor McGonagall completed today's pickup mission very smoothly. Compared with the endless strange questions of other parents, this couple mainly asked about the learning environment and the various rules and regulations of Hogwarts. It is normal to not understand transfiguration before you have undergone systematic learning. After entering Hogwarts, you can think about these things. If you still don't understand, you can also come and ask me. Professor McGonagall saw that Ethan was still thinking while petting the cat and immediately comforted him. Okay, thank you, Professor McGonagall. Ethan put down the cat in his hand and responded to Professor McGonagall with a smile. This is the duty of a professor. Professor McGonagall casually moved the wand in his hand, and 8 cats, 1 big and 7 small, floated in the air and turned back into fruit plates and apples, and placed them on the coffee table as before. Even the sofa that was scratched by the cats after the transformation was restored to its original state. After doing all this, Professor McGonagall stood up and said to Ethan, "Mr. and Mrs. Adrian, it's time to go to Diagon Alley to buy school supplies." Philemon on the side took out a stack of pounds and sent Professor McGonagall and Ian to the door with Nisha. After talking, they also thought that Professor McGonagall's identity was fine. If he had bad intentions, he wouldn't have told them so much. As for Diagon Alley, in Professor McGonagall's mouth, it's better not to contact muggles. Forcing contact with the wizarding world will not benefit oneself. Hold my hand now, don't let go. We use magic to reach the outside of Diagon Alley. This process will be a bit uncomfortable. Professor McGonagall said so in the courtyard. Ethan took a deep breath and nodded to Professor McGonagall. Well, I'm ready, Professor McGonagall. As for what will happen next, Ethan already knows apparition. Beginners, or those who are not used to it, will feel a lack of oxygen, and their bodies will be squeezed and deformed. Pop. Pop. Accompanied by the unique sound of apparition, Ethan and Professor McGonagall suddenly appeared in front of a dirty, shabby, small bar in a London neighborhood. Ethan, who was having some difficulty breathing, took a deep breath to adjust himself. This process was indeed a bit uncomfortable. Are you okay, Mr. Adrian? It's okay. I was a little uncomfortable when I landed just now, but I'm much better now. As he spoke, Ethan had almost recovered. Now it seemed that he was just like that. Seeing that Ethan was indeed fine, Professor McGonagall explained. Apparition is one of the ways wizards travel. It can be learned in the 6th grade, but it requires self-funded learning and needs to be assessed at the Department of Magical Transportation. It is a very dangerous magic. The leaky cauldron, which can only be seen by wizards, is the entrance to Diagon Alley. Remember the address. You need to come alone to get school supplies for the 2nd year. As he spoke, Professor McGonagall led Ethan into the bar. I don't know if it was because of the time or the morning, there were no customers inside, only a hunchbacked man wiping the seats. Seeing someone coming in, the hunchbacked man put down the sackcloth, raised his head and took a look, and said casually, "Good morning, Professor McGonagall. You are here to guide the new students again today." "Good morning, Tom." Professor McGonagall greeted Ethan as he walked inside. Ethan, who was passing by, was a little confused. He had a cleaning spell, but why did he still wipe the table? This man was not a squib and could use magic. Passing through the bar and coming to the backyard, there were only some weeds and trash cans against the wall besides the wall. Stopping in front of the trash can, Professor McGonagall turned his head and said seriously, "Mr. Adrian, please remember my next move. Count 3 bricks up and 2 bricks horizontally." Professor McGonagall tapped the brick 3 times with his wand. In an instant, the bricks on the wall seemed to come alive and began to arrange in a regular pattern until an arch was formed. And the other side of the door was the real magical world, with cobblestone roads, winding streets, crooked houses, and people wearing wizard robes everywhere. Let's go and exchange for gold galleons, which is the currency of wizards. As a guide NPC for so many years, this process is already familiar. After exchanging for gold galleons, buy a wand, then go to the bookstore, clothing store, crucible store, and pet store, and then you can call it a day. Buying the wand first is not because it is close, but because the little wizard is in a hurry. Professor McGonagall can't remember how many times he has been begged to buy a wand first. Soon, under the guidance of Professor McGonagall, Ethan came to the gate of Gringotts. After stepping through the first bronze door, Ethan also saw the warning on the second silver-white door. Please come in, stranger, but you have to be careful. What will happen if you are greedy? Just asking for it, getting something for nothing. You will definitely be punished most severely. So if you want to rush into our underground vault to take a piece of wealth that does not belong to you, thief, you have been warned. Be careful not to attract treasure, but bad retribution. Aren't goblins the most greedy? After all, their prototype is a race that likes to collect wealth and stir up trouble. Professor McGonagall, how can I help you? As soon as he entered the hall, a goblin in a suit came to greet him. As the vice principal of Hogwarts, McGonagall also has some status in the British wizarding world, worthy of these goblins' serious treatment, and her wealth is still very attractive to goblins. Help the freshmen exchange currency, Professor McGonagall said, pointing to Ethan. Please come here. Following the guidance of the goblin, Ethan and Professor McGonagall soon came to an unmanned counter on the right. £5 for 1 gold galleon, with a maximum of 100 gold galleons. According to Professor McGonagall, if freshmen do not pursue luxury, 100 gold galleons is enough, and there will be some surplus, and there is no place to spend money in Hogwarts. Episode 5, Ollivander's Wand Shop. Outside Gringotts, Ethan played with the gold galleons in his hand and looked at Professor McGonagall with some doubts. Professor McGonagall, is there gold in this gold galleon? I don't know about that. The currency of the wizarding world is cast by goblins, and there are also magic processes added to it, such as always shining like new, preventing flying spells, and wear and tear. After saying that, Professor McGonagall sighed inwardly. This kid might really go to Ravenclaw because he loves to explore too much. Forget it, let's buy it for free. Ethan made up his mind immediately. Under the leadership of Professor McGonagall, the two walked through Diagon Alley and soon came to the door of a small and shabby store. It looked completely different from Gringotts just now. Don't worry, the craftsmanship of the Ollivander family is trustworthy. For many years, almost all wizards at Hogwarts have purchased wands from their family. Thinking that Ethan was frightened by the old and small store, Professor McGonagall had to explain and then led the way inside. Inside the store, Ethan looked around and saw long and narrow paper boxes almost piled up to the ceiling, which made the store, which was not big to begin with, look even more narrow and cramped. Good morning. Ollivander, who heard the noise, came from behind the pile of wands with a kind smile on his face. 9.5 inches, fur, dragon heartstring, exquisite and elegant, suitable for wizards with strong willpower and talent for transfiguration, Minerva. It's like you bought a wand here just yesterday. Ollivander's old habit came back again. As long as the wand was bought from him, he remembered it clearly and habitually recalled the scene. Good morning, Garrick, that was decades ago. Professor McGonagall showed helplessness on his face. He heard this at least once a year. The little wizard behind, can you tell me your name? And come forward. After greeting, Ollivander was ready to get down to business. In his opinion, finding a qualified partner for every wand he made by hand is the happiest thing. Ethan Adrian. After Ethan broke out his name, he stepped forward and came to Ollivander. What is your dominant hand? Right hand, sir. Ethan answered in cooperation and raised his right hand to facilitate the magic ruler to measure on his body. I don't know what the measurement results mean. A wizard who is only 11 years old has a lot of room for growth in the future. After taking a look at the measured data, Ollivander turned and went to the counter at the back. Not long after, he came back with a pile of boxes. Ollivander put down the wand box and looked at Ethan with a serious expression. Every wand is unique. It is not the wizard who chooses the wand, but the wand that chooses the wizard. Mr. Adrian, try this one, applewood, unicorn hair, 9 inches long, suitable for wizards with lofty ideals and pursuits. Come and try to wave it. Speaking of Ollivander, he handed the wand in his hand to Ethan. Ethan took it in his hand and waved it gently. The next moment, the wand box on the right collapsed with a loud bang, splashing a large amount of dust. Ahem. It seems that this is not the one. Restored to its original state. After taking the wand back from Ethan, Ollivander waved the wand gently, and then the collapsed wand boxes floated up and returned to their previous positions. It's okay, this is all normal, try this one. Redwood, Dragon's Heartstring, 11.5 inches. This is a wand that can bring good luck, plus the Dragon's Heartstring. It has powerful power, a great combination. After comforting Ethan, Ollivander immediately handed the next wand to Ethan. Ethan, who took the wand, felt a burning sensation in his palm. As before, waved it twice gently. A ball of red flame suddenly sprayed out from the top of the wand, almost burning Ollivander's white hair. Touching the white hair on his head, Ollivander didn't say much and quickly took the wand from Ethan's hand. Cedar wood, phoenix tail feathers, 10.75 inches, suitable for wizards with keen insight. When he handed the wand to Ethan this time, Ollivander obviously took 2 steps back. Bang! The vase next to him, which was unknown how many years old, shattered with a sound. Ollivander cast a skilled repair spell and took out another wand and handed it to Ethan. Boom! Try this one again. Crack! Well, picky guests, try this one instead. In almost an hour, Ethan tried dozens of wands. Some made a little noise and some were taken over by Ollivander as unsuitable. But some wands, Ethan felt very smooth and the magic flowed quickly. In Ethan's perception, the petrification spell and siphon energy that he had learned could be used easily, but Ollivander still thought they were unsuitable. Mr. Adrian, please wait a moment. I know the right wand for you. Ollivander turned and walked towards the warehouse at the back. If it were a normal businessman, he would have started to drive away such a picky customer, but Ollivander would not. On the contrary, he enjoyed it. It was a great sense of accomplishment for him to let picky customers get matching wands. The wands that Ethan just tried were all mainstream in Great Britain, namely unicorn hair, phoenix tail feathers, and dragon heartstrings. These are also the wand core materials that Ollivander likes to use the most. In theory, these 3 materials meet almost everyone's needs. Unicorn hair can reflect the essence of magic and is not easily disturbed by other magic. It has the characteristics of loyalty and stability, but it is not easy to use black magic. Phoenix tail feathers have a wide range of magic and have a certain degree of initiative, but the wand of phoenix tail feathers is very picky and not easy to be tamed. Dragon heartstring, this is simple and crude. The spell it casts is the most powerful and dazzling, but the disadvantage is that it is easy to succumb to dark magic and is not very stable. In addition to these 3 wand cores, Ollivander has actually used other materials, which is also to learn from other wand makers to keep himself in line with the world. For example, the tail feathers of thunderbirds, the horns of jackalopes, the hair of ocelots, the hair of vela, the mane of kelpies, the beard of trolls, the tail feathers of the thestrals, the horns of horned water snakes, etc. Episode 6, 15 inches, yew trees, and thestral tail feathers. Black prickly pearwood, thunderbird tail feathers, 11.2 inches, a very powerful wand. A wand unique to warriors and also extremely suitable for transfiguration, but this power is difficult to control. Ollivander said as he took out a dark wand from a dusty box and carefully handed it to Ethan. He found that Ethan was particularly suitable for powerful wands. The dragon core string was active and submissive and had a strong desire to perform. The phoenix tail feathers were also similar and were considered to be more cooperative. Only the unicorn hair was the least suitable. Ziz. The moment Ethan held the wand, bright electric currents jumped on Ethan's body, but Ethan himself did not have any uncomfortable reactions. After trying to wave it, Ethan found that the magic power in his body was very smooth when passing through the wand, and at the same time he had an illusion that the wand was a part of his body. Mr. Ollivander, I feel that this is the one. Ethan said very confidently. After trying so many wands, this one gave Ethan the best feeling. Plus being good at fighting and transfiguration, this attribute is also quite good. This is the wand that suits him. No, not this one. Ollivander shook his head and denied Ethan's conclusion. He has been dealing with wands all his life, from selecting materials to making them, and finally choosing a qualified wizard for them. Years of experience and the wizard's super high perception enable Ollivander to determine the attitude of the wizard and the wand towards each other based on different reactions when the little wizard holds the wand. Just like before, this black prickly pear Thunderbird wand also tried its best to express itself when it was held by Ethan, looking forward to being chosen by Ethan. In fact, this is also a good combination. At least the wizard and the wand are satisfied with each other, but Ollivander feels that for Ethan, there is a more suitable wand waiting for him. Okay. Ethan shrugged helplessly and put the black prickly pear wand in his hand into the wand box. I don't know what kind of wand I can choose in the end. Aspen wood, horn of a long-horned water snake, 12.5 inches, a wand for duelists, powerful and can also warn snake-mouthed people. At the same time, there was another sentence that Ollivander did not say. This is also the most expensive wand in a shop. The price difference between the Ministry of Magic and Hogwarts this time is less than 5,000 gold galleons, which he will not do. The precious materials, plus his craftsmanship, are worth the price. For ordinary wands, such as unicorn hair, it is enough to add 10 or 20 gold galleons. After all, unicorn hair only costs 10 galleons, and then the price is based on the material of the wand body. Dragon heartstring is more expensive, and the price varies according to different dragon species. Phoenix tail feathers are more expensive than dragon heartstrings. Fortunately, there are still some stocks, and the wands made of phoenix tail feathers are also picky and are rarely chosen by wizards, otherwise they will have to urge Dumbledore to let the phoenix reborn quickly. Twin wands, Harry and Voldemort, are the same phoenix. Although it is not clear, they should be plucked at the same time. The other wand cores should be different periods of nirvana of the phoenix. Each nirvana represents a new life. Otherwise, there are only 2 phoenixes known in the wizarding world now, which is too few. Either the phoenix tail feather wand is out of print, or all are twins. The number of horned water snakes living in America is rare, and the regeneration cycle of this horn can take more than 10 years to fully mature. In addition, the horned water snake wand is extremely popular in America. After all, the founder of Ilvermorny used the horned water snake wand, which is in a state of being hard to find. Even Ollivander himself spent a lot of effort to get this thing. But this has nothing to do with Ethan. Ollivander's wand shop has cooperated with Hogwarts and the Ministry of Magic for hundreds of years. It can be said that the 3 parties signed a contract just a few years after the establishment of the Ministry of Magic. This is also for better control of wands. Of course, there are still wand makers in private, but their level is not as good as that of the Ollivander family. Almost all wizards still choose Ollivander. Inside Great Britain, just after taking the poplar long-horned water snake wand, before I had time to feel it, I heard Ollivander's regretful voice. This wand is also not the most suitable for you. Ollivander turned his head, not knowing which wand to take. The moment Ethan took it, this poplar long-horned water snake wand was no different from the previous black prickly pear Thunderbird wand, so there was no need to look at it. It can only be said that Ethan is too talented in combat or dark magic, and this wand has become a dog that recognizes its master the moment it touches it. Garrick. Looking at Ollivander, who was stunned in place after taking back the wand, Professor McGonagall was also a little worried. She didn't know much about the ins and outs of this, but she had never seen such an Ollivander. In the past, no matter how picky the little wizard was, Ollivander could calmly choose a suitable wand for him. If Ethan couldn't get the wand, it would be troublesome. How can he learn magic without a wand? No, it's okay, but Mr. Adrian's talent shocked me. Speaking of this, Ollivander put away all the wand boxes on the counter and bent down to grope for something under the counter. Try this one, you would. Thestral tail feathers, 15 inches. My most successful work for a period of time. To be precise, this is Ollivander's collection. He didn't think that this wand could find a suitable wizard, but now he wants to try. Ethan has an excellent talent, which Ollivander is sure of, and this wand is indeed stronger than other wands in combat and dark magic. In his middle age, Ollivander thought that his skills were high enough and wanted to make the strongest wand to prove his authority in the circle of wand makers. The template is naturally the Elder Wand, which is a recognized artifact with a uniform size of 15 inches. It starts with elder and thestral feathers, but there are always some flaws. Later, experiments were conducted on elder and other wand cores, as well as various combinations of thestral feathers and other wand bodies. After several years, countless efforts and money were spent, and finally failed. The elder wand is indeed not something that mortals can make. Although it failed, there are many finished products, and the most perfect one is the thestral feather wand in front of him. Under the gaze of Ollivander and Professor McGonagall, Ethan bit the bullet and picked up the thestral feather wand. Although Ollivander did not give any explanation, Ethan still knew that Uward was used. Voldemort's wand was made of this material, which was suitable for dark magic. The tail feathers of the thestrals were also evil things. The core of the Elder Wand was made of this material. The magic power in his body seemed to come alive. The moment he touched this wand, the wand he had tried before was easy to use, but it was not as great as the increase brought by this wand. Originally, there was an outlet which made it easier to control magic power and control the output of magic power through the wand. Now it feels that magic power is no longer rigid, and it can be operated freely according to one's will. In the eyes of Professor McGonagall and Ollivander, dark and deep streams of light spurted out from the tip of the wand and swirled around Ethan's arm. "This is it, Mr. Adrian." Ollivander was very satisfied with this scene. He found a suitable wand for a picky wizard and a suitable wizard for his treasure. As for the so-called talent for dark magic, it was nothing to Ollivander. It was best if nothing happened. If something happened, the Ministry of Magic would take care of it. I was just a wand seller. After paying 7 gold galleons for the wand, Ethan and Professor McGonagall finally left Ollivander's wand shop. Next, under the leadership of Professor McGonagall, Ethan went to Flourish and Blot's, Madame Malkin's robe shop, and Partridge's cauldron shop. A total of 68 gold galleons and 9 cigs were spent, of which the textbooks of various subjects were the biggest. Freshmen can also bring a pet, owl, toad, mouse. But Ethan refused, so he didn't go to LL shop. After all, toads and mice were not interesting to Ethan at all, and as for owls, Hogwarts had them, so he could use some owl rations to get them for free. Episode 7. Experimental Magic. Lemon Sherbet. Professor McGonagall returned to Hogwarts and stepped into the principal's office after finishing the day's affairs. The first thing that caught his eye was an old man with long silver hair, blue eyes, and a long nose. By the way, the nose was a little crooked. There was black tea and several kinds of desserts on the table. It was obviously his afternoon tea time. "Minerva, you came at the right time," Dumbledore said, and he had already poured a cup of black tea for Professor McGonagall and took out a lot of desserts from under the desk. As a lonely old man over 100 years old, there was usually no one to accompany him for afternoon tea. Lonely was completely his normal state. Today, he was in a good mood because he had a companion. "Albus, I have something to tell you." Sitting opposite Dumbledore, Professor McGonagall did not touch the desserts and black tea on the table, but talked about Ethan's various things, from Ethan's home to the wand shop, all narrated. "This year our school will welcome a talented little wizard." After listening patiently, Dumbledore took a sip of the black tea on the table. Except for a few exceptions, such as Harry, Dumbledore treated all other little wizards equally, whether they were muggles or purebloods, with good or bad talents. They were all his students, there was no difference. Ethan's talent did make him pay more attention, but that was all. It's good that you know. After that, Professor McGonagall began to enjoy afternoon tea. Although they valued Ethan's talent, they didn't have any other ideas. Professor McGonagall came just to remind Dumbledore, after all, talented people will always be paid extra attention. After teaching at Hogwarts for so many years, what kind of people have you not seen? Isn't it just a little wizard with a talent for dark magic? We have also taught many members of Azkaban. On the other side, after Ethan returned home, he talked to his parents about Diagon Alley and the situation of wizards. After lunch, he returned to his room. "I just completed several achievements, but haven't had time to check them." The first stop of wizards. Step into the world of wizards. Although it looks narrow, dirty, and backward, it is indeed the world of wizards. Achievement goal: enter the gathering place of wizards, 1/1. Achievement reward: improve wizard talent. First pot of gold. Golden gold galleons, mine, mine, all mine. Achievement goal: get 100 gold galleons, 1/1. Achievement reward: 100 gold galleons. Wooden stick times magic wand square root. Hold this wooden stick that looks like a small wooden stick. It will accompany you for the rest of your magic career. Achievement goal: get a magic wand, 1/1. Achievement reward: a random magic. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is the ladder of progress, the source of wizard power and the foundation of wizards. Achievement goal: get a book that records wizard knowledge, 1/1. Achievement reward: talent focus, greatly improves learning efficiency. Take the blame. The first step of making potions is to have a cauldron. Achievement goal: own a cauldron, 1/1. Achievement reward: improved potion talent. I didn't expect it. I got 5 achievements just by going to Diagon Alley. My wizard talent improved, my potion talent improved. My heavy soul talent has already improved my learning efficiency. Now that focus has been improved, I can't leave anyone else a way out. I also have 100 gold galleons and a magic spell. Ethan didn't have any idea of accumulating 10 consecutive draws. He would use it if he got it. As the familiar information flowed into his mind, Ethan also knew about the spell he got this time. It's better than nothing. Disillusionment spell: hide your body from being discovered. It's a special spell for Night Tours of Hogwarts. Powerful wizards can see through the disillusionment spell, but Filch certainly can't. It's just that this spell is not considered advanced. It's in the textbook, but I don't know which grade it is from. Next, I will try these magics. Except for the 3 unforgivable spells at the maximum level, I have not tried other magics because I don't have a wand. Invisible without a trace. As the voice fell, Ethan gradually became transparent from his footsteps until he completely disappeared. It was very simple and smooth, but the process was a little slow. Disrupting the flow of magic power, Ethan took the initiative to recover from the invisible state. Then he tried a few more times, and the speed of invisibility was getting faster and faster until the spell could be successful during movement. Next is the petrification spell. This requires the white mouse to be used again. Petrification. A blue light shot out from the top of the magic wand, and the moment it hit the white mouse stopped moving and turned gray. But how to remove this thing? Wait until the magic power is naturally consumed. Forget it, never mind, throw the petrified mouse aside, and then use the magic of siphoning energy. With a bang, the mouse in the box was blown to pieces. But it didn't form a shield, nor did it strengthen the next spell. After a little thought, Ethan understood what was going on. This mouse has no magic power, and it can't absorb anything at all, so it can only be used as an explosion spell. To fully exert the full effect of siphoning energy, it has to be used on wizards or magical animals. He tried all the magic he knew, and finally the magic in the textbook, and took out the standard spells, elementary. After a rough look, Ethan found that there was not much content in this book, only the illumination spell, the unlocking spell, the repairing spell, the cutting spell, the levitation spell, the flame spell, and the binding spell. After going through the information of these spells in his mind, he felt no pressure. He turned to the page of the cutting spell and read it carefully, and then looked at the repairing spell. Shattered into pieces. Restored as before. The vase that had just exploded, as if time had gone back, all the fragments returned to their original positions, and the cracks disappeared. Then Ethan began to learn other magic and learned them all before dinner. I can only say that magic is much easier to learn than mathematics and physics. There is absolutely no pressure at all. Episode 8, Cassandra. A few days later, Ethan came to the door of the leaky cauldron again. This time, maybe because it was afternoon, the leaky cauldron was bustling compared to the last time. Facing the little wizard who came alone, the pub guests did not pay much attention. This situation happened many times every day. According to Professor McGonagall's instructions, after knocking on the corresponding brick 3 times, the door to the magic world opened again. The moment he saw the trash can, Ethan really wanted to do something. After all, according to the nature of Goldfinger, pranks are likely to be successful. But after thinking for 2 seconds, Ethan gave up the idea. Entering Diagon Alley again, Ethan's goal was clearly flourish and blots. Last time, he bought textbooks for the 1st grade of Hogwarts with Professor McGonagall, and none of the spells Ethan wanted to learn were included. For example, the shield charm, the traceless extension charm, and the occlumency charm. Although the traceless extension charm is prohibited from being abused, Hermione clearly used it, and she didn't look through the banned books, so this spell should be common. The reason for the prohibition of abuse is probably promoted by those companies that produce wizard tents and suitcases. After all, who would buy it if they can make it themselves? In addition, there are two people who play legilimency in Hogwarts. If they don't know how to perform brain occlumency, Ethan is more or less worried. Dumbledore's character is still somewhat guaranteed. He will not cast this magic on his students, or he will not cast this magic on others without their consent. The reason why he is proficient in this magic is also very simple. Dumbledore was not a good person before Ariana's accident. Like Grindelwald, he is the kind of person who can do whatever it takes to achieve his goals. After this, Dumbledore's life took a turn. He had his own bottom line and returned to Hogwarts to become a professor. If Dumbledore had no bottom line, many things would not have happened. For example, when Hagrid was wrongly accused, Dumbledore was already a professor. At that time, although he was able to determine that Hagrid was not the murderer and tried to save Hagrid. But because he could not produce evidence, Hagrid was expelled from school in the end. If legilimency was used to investigate, Tom would not have been able to escape, and it is unknown whether Voldemort would still be there. In addition, the things that happened to Sirius and Peter Pettigrew later also show that Dumbledore did not use legilimency, otherwise one would not have had the opportunity to betray James Potter, and the other would not have been imprisoned for more than 10 years because of being wrongly accused. Although Dumbledore's risk was almost zero, Snape was different. Although as a professor of potions, he was also serious and responsible for his students and had a certain bottom line, but when it came to Harry's problem, Snape would not care so much. Who knows if he will use legilimency on you to confirm whether you are a threat because he feels that you are not a good wizard or because he has contact with Harry. After entering Flourish and Blots, he went straight to the area where the teaching books were. Just like the last time Ethan came, a dozen young wizards were buying textbooks here. As the only bookstore in Diagon Alley, it was doing a monopoly business. Intermediate Transfiguration and Advanced Transfiguration Guide were ordered. Standard spells level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 were taken. Ethan's shopping behavior attracted a lot of attention. They had never seen the young wizard buy books like this. Although Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them was not very useful, Ethan still took it. Ethan had flipped through the previously purchased Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them and found that it was quite interesting to write by Newt Scamander. The key point was that the price was not expensive. Advanced Potion Making was 9 gold galleons. Wow, this is the most expensive one at present. Sir, you should be a freshman this year. You can buy these books later. They are not needed now. Maybe in 2 years, when the textbooks are updated, you will have to come back. Seeing that there are more and more books in Ethan's cart, the clerk beside him couldn't help but persuade him. After all, this kind of monopoly bookstore does not get commission for selling books. If the little wizard regrets and comes to return the books, he may have to complain. Thank you for reminding me, but these are all what I need to prepare for the preview. Well, maybe you're a natural Ravenclaw. The clerk also stepped aside and stopped meddling. As long as there is a magic wand, there is a way. Walking to the magic area, Ethan felt that the title of the book was quite interesting. This person may have a unique insight into magic. Get it? Major Discoveries in Modern Magic, Guide to Medieval Witchcraft, Forgotten Ancient Magic, and Joyu, Research on the Development of Modern Witchcraft, The Rise and Fall of Black Magic, List of Contemporary Famous Magicians. These titles are so attractive. They are not clickbait titles. Finally, in a corner, Ethan found his target on how to close your brain. There are still 6 or 7 copies of this book, but it is already full of dust. It is estimated that no one has touched it for a long time. To be honest, this book is a bit embarrassing. Muggles may not be able to learn it just by reading the book. People with families will not lack this knowledge. If they want to learn, there will be people to teach them, so they will not sell this kind of book. After completing the free mailing service, Ethan had to sigh that this money was not spent. Owl Mail is 1 sickle per book, but free door-to-door delivery is available for purchases of more than 50 gold galleons, and Ethan enjoyed this service. Because he spent 127 gold galleons, Ethan's small treasury was instantly empty. At Florence's ice cream shop, Ethan sat in the rest area at the door of the shop, scooping ice cream with a spoonful, thinking about how to get some gold galleons. Originally thought that 100 gold galleons would be enough, but it turned out that just buying some books cost more than 100. Huh. A shadow covered his head, and Ethan, who came to his senses, raised his head. It turned out that someone had come to the table opposite his own. Looking around, the rest area that had a few empty seats just now was almost full now. Only Ethan came alone and occupied a whole table, which was the most empty. The little wizard didn't pay attention to Ethan's reaction at all, or simply ignored Ethan, and put the ice cream on the table, then sat down and started to enjoy it. Waist-length golden curly hair, dark green pupils, delicate face, a little familiar. I seem to have seen it in the bookstore just now. After eating the remaining ice cream in 2 bites, Ethan didn't plan to stay any longer. It should be said that the ice cream in Florence's cold drink shop is really delicious, better than the ice cream I have eaten before. Maybe it is made from the milk of some magical animal. After Ethan left, the girl who had a blank expression and was proud just now suddenly turned her head and looked at Ethan. Just now in the bookstore, Ethan's behavior really attracted attention, and she was shopping for textbooks at the side at that time, after hearing the conversation between Ethan and the clerk. The girl also chose the same behavior as Ethan and packed up all the textbooks for the next few years. No, Ethan also only sold some of the textbooks. Episode 9. A first look at Nocturne Alley. Please give me flowers and comments. Nocturne Alley. On the way from Florence's ice cream shop to the leaky cauldron, Ethan accidentally saw a signpost with a bloody hand, facing a gloomy alley. The sign next to it read, Nocturne Alley. Standing at the entrance of the alley, Ethan hesitated for only 3 seconds, and then resolutely walked inside. It is not easy to get gold galleons by conventional means, but it is not necessarily the case by unconventional means. After all, making money is written in the criminal law. Anyway, I have the ability to use any magic as long as it is not seen with my own eyes. It will not be noticed by anyone. With this ability, it is perfect to do things outside the rules. This Nocturne Alley is the black market of the wizarding world, specializing in trading some shady magic items. The situation inside is also mixed. There are people who specialize in making money, and there are also people who can't make it in the wizarding world. Of course, there are also many wanted criminals of the Ministry of Magic. It is still risky for underage wizards to go in, but the 3 unforgivable curses at full level made Ethan ignore these threats. After all, they're hiding in Nocturne Alley. How strong can they be? As Ethan moved forward, the road became more and more gloomy. Unlike the sunny Diagon Alley, it seemed that the sun could not reach here, and everything was shrouded in shadows. Moreover, they are 2 closely connected streets and alleys. Diagon Alley is bustling with people, and there are many wizards coming and going in Nocturne Alley, but they are all dead. Only Ethan is different from them. His face is full of curiosity and excitement after simple dress, and he jumps around in front of each stall. Just like those ignorant little wizards, after hearing the legend of Nocturne Alley, they secretly come here to learn from their parents. These are powerful magic props. With them, you will be invincible in wizard duels. Take a look. The old wizard leaning against the wall, showing his big yellow teeth, promoted his products to Ethan. Ethan looked at the things on the stalls. There were skulls of people or unknown animals, beads and sculptures of unknown meaning, and small bottles of potions without even labels. Obviously, these were not serious things. No, thank you, no, I don't need these. Taking 2 steps back, Ethan waved his hand and hurried forward. Huh. Seeing Ethan hurriedly leave, the old wizard sneered twice and did not try to stop him. Although most of the goods on his stalls were fake, if Ethan was willing to spend money here, he could kindly remind him twice. After all, it was close to the intersection. But now, let him be eaten up by those scum. Come and take a look. The latest wizard novels, The Witch and the 7 Fairies, and The Witch and the Werewolf. These are the latest bestsellers. You can't buy them outside. On the stalls full of books, the middle-aged boss with pockmarks on his face recommended his products to the passing wizards with a lingering expression on his face. Seeing the white thighs of the book covers on the stalls shaking constantly, Ethan instantly shifted his gaze and walked forward quickly without looking back, looking like a pure little boy. Just like that, Ethan looked around all the way, as if he was interested in everything, but because of his timidity, he walked in without buying anything. He attracted so many eyes along the way. Lost, right? Do you need me to take you out? Finally, these people lost their patience. 3 wizards wearing dirty wizard robes, exuding a sour smell, and covering their faces with hoods, blocked Ethan in a corner. Not long after Ethan entered Nocturnally, they were observing.